Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all. Myself Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of JForex Indicators Explained, where we will be looking at one interesting indicator. The name is Random Walk Index, and as the name suggests, this indicator looks to determine if any particular movement which we are seeing in any financial instrument of our choice is purely random or if it has a statistical significance. So this indicator tries to measure the recent price move in terms of its average price moves which we have observed in the given time horizon, and then tries to determine if the current move is strong enough to likely to sustain in near future or if it is purely random. So we will be looking at the concept, the uses, the customization options on the JForex 4 platform for these indicators. So let us now head to the JForex 4 platform, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. Here we have this Euro USD chart plotted for the hourly time frame. I will add the indicator which is amongst the momentum indicators, or even if you simply do a quick search, it will appear. R, where is R? So it is okay. Here it is random index. It is written as random index, not random walk, but it is mostly called random walk index. Okay. You can do a quick search, type in the random, and it will appear. So we have these three output for these indicator depending on what kind of input parameters we have set. This is the default setup with various periods of calculation defined as per the default setting. The fast percent k is defined at 5, slow percent k is defined at 3. The moving average type for both these percent k and percent d are SMAs, and here the percent k multiplier and percent d multiplier has also been defined. All right. So the first we will consider the concept. Concept is fairly simple for this indicator. It tries to see if the trend is statistically significant or not. So it is going to compare the price moves for the security for any financial instrument of your choice with its prior price moves in the given time frame. So here we get these three output parameters. One is percent %K, percent %D, and percent %J. The percent %K line is mostly used to indicate the bullish trajectory for the underlying instrument, and percent %J is used to signify bullish change. So we have to pay attention to the crossover of these lines. When we have the bullish trend in strong sense, then this percent %K line will be above the percent %D line as well as the percent %J line, and it will be on the rise. Whereas if we see the momentum is bearish, then this percent %J line will be above the percent %D line as well as percent %K line. So it is quite easier to understand the significance of these two lines. When we have bullish momentum, the percent %K line is on the higher side. When we have bearish momentum, the percent %J line is on the higher side. And for us to determine, we have to consider the crossover of these lines also. So if the trend is supposed to be strong, if we have the bearish momentum, but if we want to determine if it is strong or not, then we have to consider this percent J line where it is, and it has to be above these both the other line, the percent %K line and the percent %D line. Only in that scenario we can consider the trend to be strong enough to likely sustain in next couple of candle periods. So for that we consider this crossover. So it has to cross above both these lines. Only in that scenario we will consider it to be strongly bearish. And for bullish sentiments, we have to look at the crossover of the percent K line. It should be above these percent D and percent J, and it should have recently crossed above them, and it should be sustaining like that. In that case, we can consider the trend to have turned bullish in recent past and try to initiate the buy trades with the hope that this trend, which has now turned bullish from bearish, is likely to sustain. So both these systems can be developed. We can go for the buy trades or the sell trade depending on what side we are seeing these recent crossover taking place. So we have these signifying factors, the signaling factors here. Now coming to these values, we consider this trend in terms of the output of these percent K lines also. We can consider this trend to be strong when we have the percent K line above 50 and on the rise, then that can be considered strongly bullish. And when we have the percent J line above 50 and on the rise, then that can also be considered strongly bearish. So you can utilize multiple factors to read into the pricing data how the trend is evolving, and accordingly you can make the assessment to go for the particular trade. Now coming to its customization options, I hope you have been able to understand the concept is simple. It tries to look at these moving average prices, and also it compares the recent closing prices to the prior closing prices. So both these factors are taken into consideration, and only after that we get these signals. And to make sure that we get into the trades which have significant potential, we have to make sure that all these parameters are in place. So only after that, if we take the trade, that is likely to sustain. All right. So let us now consider what are the editing options provided to us. We have these various parameters which we have to define. So here the calculation period is 5 for the percent K, fast percent K. For slow percent K it is 3. We can vary this. If you want to increase it, you can increase these parameters, and depending on that, the output of these indicator will vary. All right. The percent slow percent D period can also be varied similarly. Suppose if you are using higher time frame for the calculation of these indicators, then the signals generated are likely to be much more reliable compared to what we see when we have these signals generated using the lower time frame data. So here the chart is now looking much less cluttered compared to what we were seeing when we were using the lower time frames for the calculation of this indicator. All right, so here is this plotting when the momentum turned bearish. Here we saw the percent J line crossing above the percent D as well as percent K, and after that there we saw significant move on the lower side for the Euro USD. And similarly, when the momentum had turned bullish, we saw this percent K line crossing above the percent D and percent J line, and then that momentum also went on to sustain, and we saw significant price move there. So this indicator is likely to give you reliable price signals whenever we have the momentum change for the underlying instrument. So you can utilize this indicator to look for trading opportunities. So here we had these indicator signals generated, and these signals have been kind of reliable. Now in today's session we are seeing this change on the buy side, so it will be interesting to see how far this indicator signal is going to sustain. Sometimes it might happen that we might get frequent trend changes when the range is kind of narrow. So in that case, there is no significant trend present in the underlying instrument. It simply moves in a narrow range. So we get these kind of signal generated on both the sides. The trend keeps changing from bullish to bearish and vice versa. So those signals are not likely to bring in much profit. So these are kind of considered to be noise. But there is one drawback which we have to keep in mind while making the trading decisions using these indicator. And as is the case with any other indicator, this also has some drawbacks. But when the trend sustains, it is going to keep you in the trade with the trend, and it is not going to give you a false idea of any trend change. The only loss making scenario or multiple loss making scenarios can happen when the price moves are in a narrow range and there is no significant trend present, but we are likely to see the indicator generating signals nonetheless. So that is one thing to watch out for. So guys, now again we go back to the editing options. So whenever you want to make the indicator more reliable, you can go for a higher time frame for the calculation of this indicator. But if you want to make it highly responsive, then it is better to utilize lower time frame for calculation of this indicator. The moving average time type can also be varied, and depending on what kind of moving average you use, you will have the different smoothing factor for the output we are seeing on the lower side. So when I am changing these moving averages, you can notice that the output of this indicator is changing quite a lot, and that is kind of expected. Same thing applies for slow percent D moving average type. Now this is SMA. You can vary the moving average type. Alright, now I will restore it back. Then we get this output combination, and we can customize it also. We can style it up. If you like brighter colors, you can go for different styles, different width. Transparency can also be adjusted. So as you can notice, now it is looking much different to what we were seeing when we were using simple combination. Alright, but it is also it also has the option to customize it in custom color combination, so you can try it out that as well. So here, if you want to customize it further, you get these options. Alright, levels, we don't really have anything on the level side, so straight away we head to the advanced editing options. Here you can opt for these recalculate on new candle only. In that scenario, this output will remain fixed for throughout the candle period. So as long as no new candle is plotted, this output will remain fixed. If you want the calculation period to be highlighted so that it becomes easier to keep in mind what is the current calculation period, so you can opt in for this. If you want the calculation to be customized further, you can do that as well. Instrument can be simply chosen from the chart, or you can specify it. Same applies for the candle period. You can use it from the chart, or you can customize it. Suppose if you want the calculation to be done for the 15 minutes, regardless of the chart's candle time frame, you can do that. Now here this output is being defined using 15 minutes as the candle period, whereas this chart has hourly as its defined candle period. So this is different. You can do that. Oh, I'll have to add it again. All right, it's back. I will restore it back to use from the chart. The spread side can be ask or bid. There will be slight difference in output depending on which side of the spread you are on. If you want the indicator to be available on all the candle periods, you have to opt in for this. If you have opted out of it, then you have to specify on which time frame the indicator should appear, and only on those time frame the plotting will be done. So on hourly and 10 minutes we will have the plotting of this indicator, but if we go for any other time frame, there won't be any plotting of the random index. So that is one thing to keep in mind when working with this indicator. Day is it's taking bit time. Now I will again restore it back to hourly. Alright, so I think we are done with the advanced editing options as well. And with this, the session is also coming to an end as I am done with the explanation, the possible uses, how you can utilize this indicator to make informed trading decisions. So that's it from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any idea to share, you can write back to me in the feedback section and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too. For trying out this newly released trading platform, the link has been included in the bio. So thank you all for joining in. I will be back tomorrow with a new indicator, new explanations, new uses. Stay tuned. Goodbye.